But the fact that I was working really hard on trying to finalize all the details for press start, and it's done. Author copies are on their way, as well as some extra Game On copies because my author copies were getting a little bit light. I have been in a bit of a rut when it comes to the rest of my writing. So I'm going to do something absolutely crazy. And you're stuck watching it. Hi, my name is Dawn Dalton. I am a freelance writer and author, and I have been in a bit of a writing rut, and I don't fully know why. I am in the middle of working on 2 series that I absolutely have been enjoying, one of which has been in the works for years, which is My House That Gaming Built series. That book 2 is about to come out with. And I started writing the Call Sign series about this time last year because the idea hit me like lightning. And I've kind of hit that point with both series where I'm like, I need a palate cleanser, and I don't know what exactly I want to be working on. I know I need to be working on my edits for Roll of the Dice. I know I need to be drafting, picking up the pieces, but I'm one of those people that has to work on multiple things at the same time. And I feel like both of these series are just close enough in theme-ish that I'm getting a little worn out. Recently I watched a video that Kate Kavanaugh did where she did a Outline-a-Palooza, where she took all of the stuff that she wanted to work on and outlined it to as far as she could before, it really becomes just writing. And the idea has been stuck in my brain. With getting a new computer, I've had to transfer over all of my files, and that caused me to actually look at how many books are currently sitting on my hard drive, waiting for me to get to them. And like any good writer, I am constantly coming up with new story ideas. So I think what I'm going to do now that I am at a good breathing point with my writing is I am going to go through the 25 book ideas that are sitting on my computer. 25. That doesn't include anything in my writer binder. None of this is on there. So I'm gonna take, I don't even know how long, to kind of go through and figure out what is at a good point at which I could finish it and what needs more work, what actually has stuff in here that I can use, and sort of get a bunch of the partial stories to a point where if I wanted to, I could grab it and work on it. Now, for some of that, it may mean taking it through plotting and actually kind of outlining what the story is. For other books, it's going to mean that I can move that to an editing phase, like what I'm doing with Roll of the Dice, where the book is just needing a few extra scenes added to it to become a full book. There may be a story or two, and by may I mean, I know that there's a story or two in there that literally just needs me to go through and give it one final edit before it'd be ready for me to hand off to an alpha reader. And because this project is so big, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do know that it's something that is needed because I have so many stories and I'm like, didn't I finish that? And I want to be able to kind of put a little tick next to some of these books and be like, okay, that book is actually done. It needs this, it needs that, you know, whatever. So that's what my plan is for the next, who knows how long. So I hope you guys enjoy the additional chaos in addition to my regular chaos. And this week is actually a good week to start this project because my hubby is going out of town again for work, for training. So I get time around my real job to kind of sink myself into my stories. So I think first things first, before I start yoinking books off of my computer and pulling notebooks out of storage, I think I gotta clean my desk first and probably clean up a lot of what's going on the table so that I can kind of spread out and figure out exactly how I want to organize the notes that I'm going to be taking and kind of figure out how I want to organize this project. So I do think that because there is going to be so many moving parts and I'm going to have to move so much stuff and add pages and subtract pages and kind of be a little disorganized, that I am going to actually use this Tull notebook that I've had sitting around that has literally only been there for me to steal a few pages to put into my planner. And then in addition to that, I have colored Tull pages that are sitting in my storage, again, waiting for me to be able to use them. I used some at the beginning of this year in my planner, but if I need more more pages to put into my notebook, I have it. So I think this is where the majority of like the notes are gonna go. I'll probably set up a few notebooks so that, you know, the stuff that is ready to be worked on can just be able to be grabbed and I can just go and work on it. So let's do this. So it's Sunday. Did I actually clean off my desk last night after I finished filming? No, of course not. Instead, I played around with the printer because I finally got our color printer working again after months of it no longer working. So I got to play around with that, which is good because that means I can actually print my bookmarks for Press Start and Game On, because I'm basically out of my Game On bookmarks and I need to print a bunch for Press Start. So what I did do is I did go through and figure out what stories I currently have sitting on my computer. This is not a comprehensive list, and that's scary. There's at least 25 books sitting on this list, which is crazy. So the plan for today and for most of this week is to go through, and what I'm going to do is each book is going to get its own page in here, and I'm going to write how many words it's currently sitting at, kind of where it's sitting in the process of being written. Like for Roll of the Dice, I'm going to write down its word count, the fact that it needs a bunch of scenes put into it, and massive edits to be done. For picking up the pieces, there really aren't any words, so that one still needs to be drafted, but I do have it plotted. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to use each page to kind of write down any notes that I have on the book. If I'm pulling something from my Commonplace notebook, my writer binder, my other writer notebook, if I have notes for that in one of those places, either I'm going to pull them out and clip them to the page, or I'm going to put a note that like all the characters for insert book here are in the writer notebook. So that's the plan. I have a feeling that this is going to take on a life of its own, above and beyond what I was thinking, but it's fine. It's fine. I think that this will actually help organize me a lot more than just going, oh, you know that story that I haven't looked at in 1,000 years? Where is that? What did I call that? And just sort of gives me a better idea of what I'm going to be doing in the future. So let's get started. So I haven't really recorded much this week. It is now Thursday and the hubby comes home tomorrow, and I can't be happier because as much as I wanted to get a ton of stuff done this week, somebody wants to get up every 2 to 3 hours during the night. And if you don't get up, you end up washing all the bedding, and I don't want to do that. So the choice is to short myself sleep and then go into work, come home exhausted, try to get to bed early, and not really get much sleep. But so that's the reason I haven't really recorded much this week, is what little bit of time I have had. I have been working on this project, but I forget to actually record it. That being said, I have all 25 or 26 stories sorted out into this tall notebook. And what I did with each one is I wrote the name of the story, how many words are typed up in my computer, if it's part of a series, what series is it a part of, what book is it a part of, or what book number is it, who the main two characters are, and what stage the book is in. And that has gone a long way to show me how many of my stories really just need scene additions and edits, and how many of them are still an idea iteration. Now, after I was done writing all of this up, I did sort it out into 3 sections. The first section is any book that is in a series, even if it is the first book in a series and the only book in the series right now. But I know later down the road it is going to become a longer series. For me, series take a lot longer than standalone books because you have to then start seeding in the other characters and keeping track of a lot more information as the series goes on. The second section is standalone books that are in any kind of editing phase. This is so that I can go through and be like, okay, this book literally just needs me to read through it and make sure that it is complete. This book needs like 3 more scenes. This one needs absolutely nothing. Send it to beta readers and I can just get it off of my plate. The third section is any standalone book that is not in the editing phase. This is anything in idea iteration, plotting, drafting, just not anywhere near completion. I do have a 4th tab that is just for the empty sheets of paper in case I need them. Now, the other thing I've been doing is anytime I have some sort of notes to go along with any of these stories, I'll either clip it on with paperclip, or if it's like 1 or 2 lines, I'll just write it onto the sheet of paper. And while this isn't complete, this actually takes a lot of the thought off of my brain of where is this story, where is that story, how close am I to having this one done, etc. And kind of gives me back a little bit of my brain power. And I really like the fact that this has started. I'm going to keep using this for the foreseeable future just to keep moving along with my books. I think this, in conjunction with this, is going to go a long way to keeping me much more organized as a writer. But this is also something that is an experiment, and we won't know if it's a successful one until I've been using it for more than a week. So this will be something that we revisit later on this year and into the next year. So if you've been enjoying watching me try a new idea, be sure to feed the algorithm, boop that like button, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.